Throughout my long life of living, went a cruise, many stories over the years, many stories which would be great to share, great for views on youtube.com, and yet I don't share them all because no one's gonna be wanting to make news stories with you down the road if they think you're just gonna be spreading all that shit online for all the world to see, right? But you see, sometimes there's certain events that occur which make you no longer feel any impediments towards telling stories which may be otherwise better left unsaid. Well, today let me tell you, about 2 years ago, I was in Libya for a friend's wedding, Benghazi of all places. But on the way back though, I had a layover in Cairo, 14 hours. I was entitled to a free hotel, and let me be telling you, a 14-hour layover, I sorely needed that, okay? Oh, I wanted to off myself. But you see, that free hotel I was entitled to, it was 3 feet across the street, and so the Egyptian government would not let me fucking go. They robbed me of my entitlements because they had a requirement for visas for Canadians, some tit-for-tat bullshit, but we required it for them, and now they're like, fuck you, let me require one for you. And you wanna know what I had to do? I had to sleep in the fucking smoking room, okay? It was just me and a bunch of Arabs ripping darts, and me nodding off in the corner, sorely in need of a shower. Holy Jesus, 14 hours, I wanted to fucking die. And so for that $100 you saved, Egypt, let me divulge every document and artifact I stole from the Egyptian embassy in Ottawa. This is real. Should give me my fucking hotel room.
Let me take you down, 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 down.
And so before we get going here today, let me tell you a story about how I ended up finding this embassy. You see, I was on this first date with a girl, maybe the best first date of all time. You see, we ended up meeting up at 10:30 a.m. or so for coffee after meeting on a stairwell at a house party a few days prior. It ended up going like 15, 16 fucking hours. It was great. At the end of the day, I remember I was walking her home and she's like, I used to love growing up exploring abandoned buildings. I'm like, no way, me too. I bet we could find one here in Sandy Hill, Ottawa, where all of the students live. It's a student ghetto for you, Ottawa, but also it's where all the embassies are, right? I didn't have that in mind at the time, but as I said, oh, I bet we could find one here today. I look over yonder, I'm like, a broken window, no way. I bet that's one there. And so we go poke and prod at the door. She swings right open, and I'm looking inside. I'm like, what's all the Iraqi flags? I'm so embarrassed to say. I'm a vexillologist at heart, okay? But I thought the flags were Iraq, okay? Anyway, we get chased out by a homeless dude, as is tradition in Ottawa, but she's holding me there on the sidewalk. I'm like, you see anyone? Somehow that never came up. And she's like, I am. What? What do you mean you're seeing who? For the best. But I kept those flags in mind. I'm like, that was bizarre. What is with all these flags? And so a few nights later, different house party, I'm like, yo guys, and I told the story, let's go check that shit out. And so we go in there, you know, just like a dozen drunk guys. Going through, I'm like, those flags aren't Iraq. Oh fuck, that's Egypt. Why is there a bunch of Egyptian flags everywhere? And there's a bunch of Arabic writing all over the walls. It looked like some schizophrenic Arab dude must have been living there. Going through, I'm like, okay, dead rat in the toilet. What the hell's with all these shredded documents in the bathtub for? This is bizarre. Reach down onto the ground. I'm like, what's this? It's a manila envelope. I'm like, Embassy of the Arab Republic of Egypt, 454 Laurier Avenue East. Wait, what address do we have right now? I look at Google Maps, 454 Laurier Avenue East. Holy fucking shit, this is the Egyptian embassy? Huh? It's abandoned though. I mean, that explains the shredded documents, I guess. Still though, what the fuck? Anyway, everything that wasn't bolted down to the ground, I'm like, holy shit, look at this fucking presidential portrait of Mubarak, okay? Holy Jesus, Hosni, get over here. You're coming home with me tonight. But what else have I stolen from this embassy? Now, I don't know what the hell ended up happening here. Who the fuck abandons an embassy like this, okay? But you should count your lucky stars that it was me and not someone else who ended up pilfering all of this plunder. Because some of this shit here, you will be aghast, was left just for anyone to come through and take or look at. For starters, surprisingly nice book. The Qatar Katrina Fund, dedicated to the 100 mil or so that Qatar ended up donating to Katrina after the hurricane ripped through there. And I think it could be summed up by the very end here, where sponsored by Raytheon. It says on the back spine here, Americans shouldn't forget their friends. The people of the Gulf Coast certainly won't forget Qatar. Sure, Qatar is really thankful America didn't forget its friends today, eh? Anyway, what else we got here? Get the fuck out of here. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Where were we? The letterhead that made me realize, oh shit, this is where I am, the Egyptian embassy. Found inside of it this old field manual. It looks like it's from the 1920s and they fished it out of the goddamn Sahara Desert. Basically, it's just a guidebook on how diplomats are supposed to handle the country that they're in and their laws coming into conflict with Egypt. And I think it's pretty smart. Obviously, you want them to know when certain laws don't apply. Like, for example, if you're in the UN, don't pay parking tickets. What are they gonna do about it? Or, you know, you hit and run someone, just run home to your country of origin. You're good. What are they gonna do about it? I'm sure that's in there somewhere. Oh, also, actually, I think there was some other thing in here. Oh, the Egyptian government's checkbook. Yeah, I have the Egyptian government's checkbook. What are you gonna do about it? No, I assume it's been expired for like half a decade at this point. Honestly, I don't really know how checks work. I just know I get angry when I get them. But, you know, beyond grandmas and shit, I do find they are a great novelty gift. Like my friend Wes here, he had a birthday, and I'm like, fuck Wes, happy birthday. Here's $1 million from the Egyptian government. I've never tried them, and they should be thankful a guy like me found them, and not someone willing to commit a little bit of check fraud. Speaking of other shit they should be lucky I'm the one to find, I'm gonna have to blur this, but a log of every single person that has ever entered and exited the Egyptian embassy from 2008 to 2014. I shit you not, I just have a record, a perfect record, to the minute of any time anyone entered and exited the embassy, what their social insurance number is, their passport number, name, date of birth, why they were there, and details about every visit. I just have this. And I really gotta wonder, what the fuck were the documents that were shredded in the bathtub, right? Because if you're leaving shit like this lying around, what the fuck was worth shredding? It's crazy. Who knows? Anyway, here's a... Hello.
Oh, are you filming?
All right, I guess I'll wrap this up for today, but...
No, you have to stop.
Well, this is an export development loan to the Egyptian Railway for, how much was it? For 15 locomotives to be bought from General Motors of Canada. And for all the train autists out there, the specific model was the 2475-2250 horsepower model JT22MC diesel electric locomotive with related parts. Isn't that nice? For 16 million Canadian dollars, and for all the finance autists out there, the interest rate was 10.5%. Jeez, okay, sorry for the interruptions. Anyway, as I was saying, so there's this book next from the Egyptian government for their military. It's a yearly report. It's essentially the yearbook, and it feels as such. Reading through it, it literally looks like a goddamn yearbook for what the fuck the Egyptian government got up to that year. And some of the shit they divulge in here is absolutely absurd. For example, boys, I don't think I'd be fucking just saying we got new encrypted comms networks this year so that we could talk without the Israelis hearing, and then detailing the specific Motorola make and model. That seems rather goddamn insane to me. But, you know, I guess that's just what you do in the Egyptian military, which I keep conflating them with the government because it really is both. They are one and the same. That was actually the big disappointment of my boy Mubarak over here, the old president of Egypt. It's honestly a tragedy when you talk to Egyptians abroad. They're always lamenting how his son wasn't the one to take over from him when the Arab Spring sprung, because they thought it would have been so good to have a non-military, college-educated leader for a change. Pretty sad when your society is longing for the bloodline monarchy, essentially. Quite the contraptions they got going. Like, I see at one point they're saying, install American Sidewinder missiles to Russian MiGs. They seem really enthused with the whole using computer viruses and counter-electronic operations as a concept. Again, listing the exact make and models. Again, why would you do this? They also list all of the different competitions and shit that they get up to throughout the year. Like, they got religious competitions here. The Prophet's birthday competition? I don't know how much this relates to the military, but they report the winners every year, which is hilarious. It really feels like they're all just in high school. Some of the torturous shit they get the recruits up to, too. They got here paratroopers during a 300-kilometer march while wearing chemical protective gear. Imagine being stuck out in the Sahara sun, dripped out in fucking level A hazmat protective gear, having to march 300K. My goodness, okay? I like how their border unit also reports on how many different seizures there were. 31 tons of smuggled fish and shrimp seized. Oh, they also recover 12 individuals who lost their way in the desert for 4 days while on a tourist trip. I'm really enjoying here the way that they refer to the new housing they developed for trainees in the military. Like this one Soviet commie apartment block here is titled, "In God's Name, Non-Commissioned Officers Housing." In God's name, indeed. I like how they also have here a dedicated page discussing contracted North Korean slave labor to help excavate shit and different antiquities. Oh, and they're also bragging about building a refrigerator of 1,000 tons at the cost of 3.6 million pounds. I don't know, it sounds like more than 1,000 tons. They're also reporting on ways to raise morale among the troops, one of which is by making a bunch of propaganda videos about their glorious victory of October. So weird to see them openly discussing, oh yeah, new KPI for the year, 3 different propaganda films made. Like, they're just This feels like something you wouldn't discuss. Really should have fucking earmarked these pages, goddamn. I thought they were called Arabic numerals. There's no fucking Arabic numerals here. Like, what kind of chicken scratch shit is this? What, you guys switched it up? Ah, yes, page number pop? Like, come on. Was that Saddam Hussein? Hold up, I swear I just saw Saddam. all right, look, okay, if I'm gonna be admitting to all these other crimes, let's add some more onto the pile, shall we? Because, you know, back in the day, I was, a little bit of an onion farmer, one could say, right? I was on the darknet, as one does, looking for any way I could to spend Bitcoin on its intended use case, right? Magic internet, back in the day, on the darknet, remaining secure via Tor, and Tails too for the size movers among you, but if there's one thing none of us could do without, it is Proton Mail. Back then, just came out, but it is totally beyond that now. They got a whole suite of privacy tools. Take the VPN, for example. I always hear people doing the ad roll for it, but I never hear them talk about some of the best parts. For example, data usage on my cell phone down double digits. It goes beyond that too. I mean, you already know about the whole Netflix in foreign countries shit. Copyright infringement. You wouldn't download a car. Christ, I downloaded every goddamn season of Game of Thrones from day one. And on the final season, I suddenly got this pop-up that I didn't even know an ISP could do on your computer, but it was a pop-up from Eastlink, Nova Scotian internet. We see you pirating Game of Thrones. Knock it off, bucko, or else we're gonna have to rat on you. So I just turned on Proton VPN from then on out, and suddenly no more notifications. Your ISP could really see everything you do. Top level domain that you connect to, they got you. Go to protonvpn.com/netloss and you'll get, what, 65% off? I fucking forget, but it's a good goddamn deal. I've been a subscriber for over a decade, and for once, you are being served as a customer instead of being served up on a silver platter to the guys trying to screw you over. And so if you don't give me a good fucking conversion rate on this goddamn ad, I'm gonna get you, okay? You better be using Proton, because I'm gonna find you otherwise. I'm gonna find you. Yo, Saddam Hussein cameo. I expected him to be kind of lying down like this. You know, it is funny as well. They're bragging about their criminal monitoring department. They're like, yes, after their sentences conclude, we have our team of FBI agents with the latest technology. It's just a bunch of CRT monitors. It's like, yeah, we have them monitoring the criminals after their sentence ends so that we can make sure they stay on the right path. Openly showing all of the direct and indirect covert communication devices for filming of events and advanced technical capability. That just straight up looks like a gun. I don't know what the fuck you're hiding with that. They also have their CIA essentially, and the reading list is quite telling of the times. Egyptian relations with the US in the wake of the USSR falling. Palestine, a state or refugee people, and its impact on the Egyptian Arab national strategy regarding Israel's rejection of the principle of a Palestinian state and its pursuit of its grand dream from the Nile to the Euphrates. The role of the Zionist lobby in Soviet decision-making circles and the promotion of Jewish immigration to Israel and the possibility of Arab-Egyptian action to reduce its efforts. The future of water in the Middle East. A history of the Israeli army. The future of the alliance in NATO from a French perspective. History of Israeli intelligence, bracket imperfect spies. Number 8, the hidden bomb. Israel and Latin America. And then there's a whole subfield of periodicals on Israeli affairs, such as the Palestinian question. Again, more focus on the Soviet-Israeli angle and Zionist influence within the Soviet government. They also have a section here on the most important achievements during 1990. I don't know if this is generally or just for some specific sub-part of the government. 14 semi-automated bread production lines were procured to complete the plan for equipping and developing bread production use in the armed forces. That was the most important achievement for Egypt in the year 1990, apparently. Again, the installation of a 1,000-ton refrigerator, second most important. The third most was a pasta factory. Fuck is this all food focused for? It must be for the food department of the military. They also have a tact scope device, which measures attention span, observation skills, and memory of new military recruits. The fuck that? All right, fuck the military yearbook. We're done with the yearbook, okay? Now on to the meat of the subject today, all right? That's right, we're looking at the NATO folder. Egypt's not in NATO, by the way. Why do they have a folder called NATO? Who's to say? Let's find out. Just beforehand, I know there's some other random loose documents I found here. Like, a lot of it relates to passport procedures and shit. Also, a bunch of prayers, more regulations around issuing new passports, more passport shit. Anyway, NATO folder. Israel invasion plans. Is that what that is? Israel, look, it's just a fucking map of the Middle East showing huge new borders for Israel. And if you translate what the name of this document is, it's called Zionist Settlements in Iraq. Woe to a nation that does not read. And I'm just trying to read what the hell this says. I mean, one, it's in Arabic, but it's for some sort of scholarship shit. Like, it says that there's like a scholarship involved, and the president of the scholarship selection committee is either being sent this or sending this to someone. And it's just, it feels like a middle school assignment. It's very bizarre. And it has giant borders around Israel. The meat of the article essentially is something about a Zionist collab with the Kurds, settle and occupy Iraq in a broad scheme to make, greater Israel, I think. I can't fucking read Arabic. Apparently this is from some online journal from 2009. Either way, all around, just very bizarre shit going around. Reading the final page here, which has the dude's email on it, it sounds like this is like a commentary doc. Woe to the nation that does not read. It's just a bunch of Israeli leader quotes about creating greater Israel or some shit. And then it starts quoting, this Arab expatriate who enjoys a quiet and peaceful life in Canada writes with the prior and certain knowledge that Arab rulers do not read, either because they're half nations or because they got no time to read. Therefore, he writes for those who do read, and for them indeed. And that is the reminder, faithful martyr, how difficult it is to remain silent about the truth, except in the grave. Editor Murad at bell.net. I can't tell, is the scholarship committee writing this, drafting it? I don't know. But either way, apparently somewhere out there in Canada, there is some sort of national press club with a scholarship committee Eid Murad once was writing for or controlling about a decade ago, sending emails to each other about woe to the nation who does not read, with Zionist conspiracies for the settlement of Iraq in a grand scheme to make greater Israel and conquer the Middle East. I don't know what the fuck scholarship is being given out for Jewish conspiracies, but hey, if you got some, I guess they're giving money. But regardless, after the Jewish conspiracies, what else we got here, huh? More visa shit. Also, there's a French end times call to repent, and it seems to be written from a Christian perspective. Again, I don't know what the fuck. It reads like a middle school document. This seems like something I was assigned when I was in middle school French class. Very bizarre all around, but the real nugget today hidden amongst this stash is what I am convinced could only conceivably be read as some sort of espionage, a spy letter, because otherwise this is the most innocuous, inane bullshit I have ever read in my life. I cannot imagine a human being wasting their time sending, writing, or receiving and reading this. It can only be interpreted in my mind as something more than it appears to be. Let me read this to you. Dear Gab and Dr. S, cannot help but pass on some good thoughts to you. I have pushed all day. In a moment of deliberation, I found myself short and tired. That is not what I am going to share with you though. I send on some humor, and I am still short, and I still think that good thoughts and some love travel the best between us. I put some more prints in the mail. I asked questions, wrote assertions, took a nap that is going to make me have a long, thought-filled night. I ate cold Chinese food and thought about not being quite so strange. Imagine that. I had a couple lovely bits of cold pizza, and I wondered what it would ever be like to rise up out of this internment that I have been producing in. I may one day eat better, walk around without eccentricities that show up in striped socks or wild hair. Not yet, but who knows what's in my future, huh? My dear Brit is probably breaking up with the young man that she's living with. Honestly, I've expected this. I have to be a more attentive mom. Yes, I've gone through this long distance with her more than once. One time, it was 2 a.m. when she called. I put on my sweater and boots and sat all night. After another call that she made around the same time, told me if I did not take her call, she would become an American statistic. I think she means offing herself or some shit. I hope they both adore me as much as I have spent assets on adoring them. I offer you some humor. Last year, my mom asked me to help her put on a new toilet seat. We worked so hard, and nothing was working between us. She laughed and asked me, how many Norwegians does it take to get a toilet seat on? Today, we set a trap for a woodchuck. I share with you the picture of the two of us holding our own with an empty trap in the backyard. Humor is a part of wellness. Laughing and knowing the kick it gives our heart is essential when something tries our body or our spirit. I wish for you, Dr. S, great humor and good health. Took Tolstoy 15 years to write it down. Victor Cousins has, to me, done it best though. And then in brackets, there are 16 copies of this Victor Cousins' French philosopher writings in the States, all under lock and key. Elaine Scarry's book on beauty and being just is worth looking at. If you are interested, I will send my copy. Other things that I believe are terribly important, as any one part of us is under duress, are fantasy and intelligence. I suggest Robert Shattuck, Boston Princeton University, and Robert Rudin, Eugene, Oregon. You have some wonderful people to meet with them, and good winning over evil always helps. If The Wicker Wars would get published, I'd send you a copy. The story wrote about children, neighbors, and someone's needing a crown, and a few tears that had to be seen so that the children's play of war could end. Like love, peace is both elegant and primary. Like peace, love, and friendship are couriers for the human in each of us. How can we become each other's reminders, I wonder? The next story that wrote itself is about the Sleeping Beauty, the sleep of what we can stay in and what we have to decide to move out of. It is a beautiful and sincere story. The third story is called Cold Soup. I began it 25 years ago. I think it's about affections finding us. There's a woodcutter, a found baby girl, a doe, 2 rabbits, a dog named Lear, and a widow fair that make up the cast. I send this one to you to share a gentleness that I have when doing writing. Get well, eat silly foods, giggle before any gossip, get better pillows for the top of your bed. That is all I know to share right now. Love to you, Paula? P.S. It crosses my mind to quit and find a way to just do simple good living. My second choice, be around people that are thinking together because there's something that they are individually invested in that might make a difference. I think about finding out more about the think tank at Princeton University. I either work with my need for mindedness or I feed the simplest forms of my common appetites. What do you think about that? What do you think about that letter, huh? I don't know if this is what people used to do back in 2002. Maybe they just sent bullshit, waste of time letters like this to each other. Who's to say? Either way, all I'm saying is, like, when you're talking about digging more into this Princeton think tank and about these weird flowery stories you write, thinking about the future, talking about, like, it just feels like coded language, okay? I know it's conceivable that it's all innocuous bullshit and it doesn't mean anything. I know I could be reading way too deeply into what could very well be a fucking letter from Paula to Gab and Dr. S, okay? I get that, but I want to believe, okay? I'm convinced that this is some spy communique. Can't convince me otherwise, okay? Anyway. Fuck, dude, I do want Domino's now. How could you do this to me?
I can order it. I can order it. I can order it. I can order it.
What else we got in the NATO doc? We have a meeting for the High Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago. Subject is Carnival cruise ship trip. Okay. We also have a money order made to Sascan Pulse Trading for $82 in exchange for 25 kilogram bags of 8mm chickpeas. 110 metric tons for $82? What? That can't be correct. Also, they have this Mohammed I don't know who that is, but it's some embassy worker. Bro, your whole shit is just constantly strewn about this embassy. If you are still around, I just want to let you know that it's safe with me, and by safe I mean no one will ever see these, because they could easily steal your identity if they so chose. Also, we have the post-Arab Spring draft constitution from October of 2012. When the Arab Spring happened and he went to jail, and then what else followed. It is funny how the Egyptian embassy staff there would conceive of this. Like, what was the reaction to the Arab Spring? Your government got overthrown and a new one put in place. This draft constitution they wanted to spring upon people is pretty shitty. Sharia law. If I'm gonna pick which sort of system to live under. We also have the Wi-Fi password and their old list of contacts for various shit. More letterhead, embassy docs. Oh, also, holy shit, I found a fatwa hidden amongst these docs. You know, one of those religious decrees. And this one was a fatwa ruling on the proper prayer direction in North America for Muslims. And all I'm gonna say is I want to issue a counter, okay? That, not okay. Generally worship in the vague direction of Mecca. You don't even gotta do that, they're saying. They're like, oh yeah, it's fine, just worship in the southeast direction and that's good enough. What the fuck? Do you want to know what I know? Mecca is that way. I know this, I'm not even Muslim. Mecca is that way. If I know this and I'm not reverted to Islam, why the fuck are they saying it's okay for Muslims to not care where Mecca is? You gotta pray to Mecca 5 times a day. It's one thing if you're traveling, but if you're actually living somewhere, how the fuck do you have any excuse not to know the cardinal direction of Mecca? It's that way, by the way. And fuck it, I'm reverting. Where's the imam? Ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah.
Bismillah, you're a Muslim now.
Counter fatwa. Fuck this dude. If you're actually living somewhere, you should be able to know what direction to fucking pray. Considering the absence of geographical and natural locations in the southeast direction, not the flight path to reach Mecca, and God knows best. All I'm saying is God probably knows where Mecca is, like any other devout Muslim should too. What else we got in here? Oh, more itineraries. This one, the ambassador is scheduled in February of 2017 to meet with Michelle Rampell. What are you looking at? Are you fucking stop tracking Mubarak, okay? Buddy, I'm right here. What else we got here? A Hajj visa application, more prayers, lots of prayers. We got this document, how to heal yourself with healing energy found in the beautiful names of Allah. And it goes over all of the various health issues one could have, and then what you gotta say to make them go away. Pancreas issues? Well, it turns out that's actually the creator. You got migraines? The artist. Nerves? The enricher. Heart veins? The bestower. Heart? The light. Dandruff? Glory be to God. Hair issues? The originator. I don't know what the fuck any of this shit translates as, but apparently this 12-step method involves placing your hand on the area of pain, reciting God's names and God-given words, repeated until by God's permission these pains disappear. Just recite God's name a bunch of times. I don't fucking know. Anyway, we're done. No more goddamn Egyptian government docs. Honestly, I'm just very thankful to have found the Egyptian embassy abandoned all those years ago. It's torn down now, so it's fine for me to say all this shit, I guess. But, you know, at the time, it was awesome. I could just be at any house party in Ottawa and be like, hey, who wants to go check out the abandoned Egyptian embassy? And everyone's like, I do. And then we'd all file out and go traipse through the goddamn abandoned structure.
All right, we're going upstairs, okay, Pat?
It was a lot of fun. My friend was terrified that the place was haunted. And I remember we got blackout one night in that embassy. And afterwards, we brought back that painting, then hid it in his house. And the next morning, he woke up hungover as shit. Comes out, he finds it. He sent me a Snapchat. He's like, not funny, bro. I don't know who did this, not funny. But I do find it funny, and I miss those days. But, you know, like all days, they do pass. And you can just enjoy them while they last, I guess is the concluding message here. Live life to the fullest. Go into abandoned buildings. You'll never know what you're gonna find there. Maybe some spy docs. Who knows? But like all days, they do pass. And this filler episode's over too now. The next episode should be back in the factory. No other real conclusion to draw from this other than just, wow, isn't that interesting, eh? Oh, look at all these abandoned Egyptian embassy documents. I really do want to know what the fuck was worth shredding though. But, you know, regardless.
Yo.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say here.
Yo, can I take a bit, bro?
Sure. And that's the real horseshoe theory or something. No, fuck that. Real ending here, especially after editing this whole video. I keep coming back to this thought that the Egyptian people deserve better. I mean, fuck, they haven't had a good government since Nasser, maybe. Disgusting. They can just leave all of their citizens' shit just strewn about in an abandoned building. First off, abandoning a building in downtown Ottawa like that. Prime real estate, how do you afford people to abandon a building like that? Afford to build a brand new fucking city in the middle of the desert just to get away from your own people. So many fucking problems with this government. The Egyptian people deserve better. It's disgusting. Oh, also on that fucking topic, disgusting, eh? I'll let you know, the Egyptian from Egypt to Canada, I found your ointments. Yeah, that's right. I found your fucking prescription ointment, bud. In the middle of an abandoned building, just strewn about there. Imagine I come into this dark room in the abyss of this building, and there's just nothing in there except for a lone prescription ointment tube. I go down and pick her up, and I mean, okay, look. Why was he picking up a prescription ointment in an abandoned building? Good question. Okay, I was probably drunk, all right? Who fucking is to say? But what I found, if you're seeing this means my lawyer couldn't clear this, so I can't say what it was. But, you know... on an unrelated note, you know, it's funny, you know, cold sores, right? Did you know that's oral herpes? You know, most of us actually, especially if you're younger, this was vaccinated against. So a lot of you probably don't know that it was a thing, let alone the fact that it was herpes, right? And it's because, you know, most people when they hear herpes, they don't think of cold sores, they think of the other one.